all this retired rock star wanted was to run his record store in a quiet coastal town. What he gets instead are knife point muggings, crazy friends, and a murder. Today we chat with Nicholas George about his latest novel, You've Lost That Livin Feeling. Welcome to Blackbird Writers Presents Author Interviews. I'm Sharon Lynn, and welcome back to the show, Nick.
Well, thank you, Sharon. It's good to be here again. Good to see you again. And thank you for introducing the book.
Thank you.
Says you've lost that living feeling, and it's the first in um, my new series of mysteries, which features, as you mentioned, a retired rock star and his wife, who was his lead singer in his group, and he was a drummer and they had one big hit and then kind of coasted on that for the rest of their careers. They kept going for quite a while, and as you said, now they're retired in a supposedly quiet community on the California coast. But of course, things turn out not to be so quiet. And Adam, who's the main character's name, he is good friends with the town's police chief, and indeed his nephew recently got hired to the police force there as a deputy. So he has a connection there.
Yeah,
And
and that doesn't work out as smoothly as he would like either.
right, because it's he feels a responsibility to his nephew and doesn't want his nephew to get into any trouble, but it can be frustrating at times.
Yeah.
Um, so the book gives me a chance I love rock music, pop music. I'm a big music fan, so it lets me indulge in that and write a mystery as well. And the second book in the series will be coming out in July,
Awesome.
and that one is called A Hearse with No Name. And I know these are groan-worthy pun titles, but
I'm all about the puns.
I into it. You have to appreciate the puns. And and it looks like there will be a third book maybe at the beginning of next year or the end of this year as well. So I'm hoping this series continues. It's a lot of fun to write. It's a lot of fun to present these characters and kind of think up interesting things for them to get involved in.
Yeah, exactly. So, did you base Adam and Shawna, his wife, on any particular band or person?
Not really. It's sort of a compendium of, a lot of these bands back in the 70s and 80s. Shauna maybe was sort of based a little bit on, some of these really noteworthy singers and bands like Grace Slick for the
Mhm.
Jefferson Airplane, might be one. Um, and not quite Janis Joplin. She isn't bluesy like that, but she's a singer. She can really belt it out. So some of those singers came to mind when I was fashioning her. But for Adam, not really. I wanted him to be sort of the rare bird of being like a centered rock star who is not taken over by his own fame or anything, and he's able to maintain a steady focus and moral tone.
And that he definitely does. And you've set them in a small coastal town in Southern California. And what I picture is San Luis Obispo, but it's called Cordoba. So, again, did you base it on a particular town
I
or
did, but not San Luis Obispo. So you're
okay?
close to it. Close to it. It's not far away. It's semi-based on a town called Cambria, which is in the mid-California coast. And you would kind of call it a small town, although it's not so small anymore. I don't know what the exact population is. A beautiful place. I did not. The reason I changed the name of the town is because I didn't want writers or readers to say, wait a minute, I've been to Cambria. It didn't have anything like that, or you got that wrong, or you got that wrong. So I thought, okay, let me just avoid all that and call it something else. But it really is based on Cambria.
All right. It sounds lovely. I would, what readers are thinking is, I want to go there now.
Yeah.
So, um,
Nice place to go.
one of one of the lovely aspects of Cordoba and the series in general is that Adam runs a vinyl record store, and and depending on his mood, he like puts on certain things, and it's like having you DJ an afternoon for me in my head, which is amazing. So, did you do a lot of research on stuff, or is this just things you like?
It's just
Music.
things I like, and I've got it's all up here. And I've been a lifelong music fan, lifelong, I've been into all kinds of music, ever since I was a little boy, and I never became a musician myself, but am very much a fan. There was a brief period when I was in high school and in college years where I actually considered becoming a disc jockey as a profession. And I
Okay.
think I'm sort of glad I did not go in that direction, but that's sort of what my mind was. And so I am sort of like I like to compile playlists here at home and listen to them and everything. So this is Adam is sort of that same kind of person.
Yeah, it's very fun. And just sort of a part of that, we've got the knife point muggings, and we have a rather stabby murder. And so people are coming into a store and wanting knife songs, and Adam just like spits out a whole bunch of them and then keeps a bunch of them in his head because he's like, I'm not going there. Uh, so again, kind of the same question. Were you just as you were writing going, oh, that's a nice song, or and that just came up to you, or did you actually?
It mostly just came up to me. I didn't really research any of them. I mean, I think what started it all off when I was writing the book, I had to come up with a name, their title for their big hit, this group's big hit. His name is Adam Parrall, and his rock band was called Parallax,
Great,
and
great
and
name.
so I had to come up with a name for their big hit record, and it had to be about heartbreak and love affair and everything like that. So I came up with the title Knife to the Heart. And I think that sort of started me off on like, okay, well, knives have somehow got to be featured in this story. And that sort of led me into that. And then, when the murder happens, and it's not any big reveal. The murder victim is killed because he's stabbed to death, and so the search is on for the knife. And knives play ended up playing a very big role in this book. And there's a lot of knives,
There
and
are.
there are,
Well,
and
and there are, it's not just the stabby knives. There are cooking knives and stolen knives, uh, and there were a lot of knives. And so that was actually one of my questions too, is like, did you have a map as to where all the knives were
yes,
and where they were
I
going?
had to do that. I did, yeah, because I was getting confused. I thought, okay, wait a minute. Where did this knife come from? Where did he get that? Where did she get that? And so I did have to, map may not be the right word. I had to put like a spreadsheet together and trace the history of each knife in the story. And there's actually a scene at the end of the story where Adam um, he recounts the stories of the knives to other people in the book. So because I could see readers getting lost, like where did that knife come from? Wait a minute, so I tried to make it not too confusing.
Well, but it was fun because it's like the police don't know,
Right,
is
right,
which knife actually is this, and why are
right.
there, two or three knives missing from this person, and yeah. And I have to say, I just love Shauna trying to learn how to cook. Like I'll just eyeball it. It's like, oh my gosh, no.
Well, she wants to, she misses the spotlight. She loved being on stage and performing, and unlike Adam, she kind of misses that, and so she's looking for ways to kind of keep that going. And in this book, she's under the delusion that she can become a celebrity TV chef, and so she's taking cooking lessons and everything, which don't always go that well.
Not, not even a little, actually. Um, uh, yeah, I what I was picturing was well, she could host like America's Worst Cooks or something.
Hey, I'll keep that in mind. That might be that might be something to keep in mind for a future book. Yes.
Um, so one of the character, his name is Barry, and he is a cover band for, or he is just a cover performer, singular, for the Righteous Brothers, who are, of course, a
Two
band.
people.
And there's there's just so much throughout the book of uh, why is he doing this, and how is he doing this? And so I'm just wondering what your inspiration for Barry as a one person
Well,
covering a duo.
I mentioned the title, and I think I wanted. I came up with this idea of using titles based on actual song titles, the titles of the book, but with a little twist. So that's how I came up with "You've Lost That Livin' Feeling," and that was based on a song called "You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling," which was a big hit by the Righteous Brothers in the 1960s. For those of you who were not around back then, which not many people
Hey,
were these days.
but we've seen Top Gun, so we know
Okay, all right. Okay, that's right.
it.
That's right. That's right. Um, so I came up with the title first, and then it was a Righteous Brothers song. I thought, well, how can I work this into the story? And that's when I came up with the idea of, okay, what if there's like an impersonator or a tribute performer
Yeah.
who uses the Righteous Brothers songs as part of his act? And then I thought, well, what if this guy does both parts, you know? I mean, they often sing together, but sometimes they sing apart, and they had different kinds of voices. One was higher than the other.
Mhm.
And so I thought, well, that's a crazy idea. Probably it would never happen, but I thought, why not? So I put that in there. I know I have not heard of anybody doing that, not one person doing. I mean, there certainly are entertainers who will, okay, now I'm going to impersonate this person, and now I'm going to impersonate that person, but not never all in the same song that I've
Right.
heard.
Going back and forth. Yeah, and it's just so funny. Everybody's reaction to him. I just love it. Um, so I just want to step back for just a moment to your previous series, which we also had an interview about, which was the walking tours in England.
Yes.
And you do manage to just put a little bit of England into this one. Um,
Yes, that's right. I do.
and um, so he gets an award, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. And it's from Wirral. Is that how you say it?
Whirl,
Whirl.
whirl. Actually,
Whirl.
I don't really know the exact pronunciation. I've heard it whirl, but
Okay.
it's up in the northwest part of England,
Mhm.
um, by the Mersey River, Liverpool, where the Beatles, started,
Yeah.
and across the Mersey is the Wirral Peninsula.
Yeah.
A beautiful place. And so I have no idea if there's a music society or anything. I made all that up, but I thought, yeah, it is a way to get England into this book because I like England.
Well, I was there looking at my maps and yeah, I've never been up that way either. I've been to Liverpool once when I lived in England when I was a kid,
Well,
but
then you were up there. That's not that far
yeah,
from
I
it.
think we just took a train and then took a train back. I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can do that there.
Yeah, I love the trains. So what is next for Adam and Shauna? You said the next book is coming out in some
July. Yeah,
July.
yeah, yeah, they're really very aggressive because if this book came out in January, so this is pretty soon.
Oh, you're
And
busy.
I know, and yeah, the odd part of it is this series takes place in California, but the publisher is based in England, so I do have a British publisher for this, so it's kind of weird, how that happens. But they're doing a good job with it, and so the next book is A Hearse with No Name, and that kind of continues some of the themes that were in the first book. Shauna has sort of given up on the cooking career, and but in this next book, she becomes a on-camera spokeswoman for a local man who is trying to set a flagpole sitting record. And he's raising funds for charity on this. And so she agrees to be his on-camera spokesperson and giving updates to the local news media from time to time. So that's something she continues in the next book. And of course there's a murder and there's a hearse, as implied by the title, and Adam gets involved with it, and probably won't tell you much more than that, but
Okay.
it's a bit different than this one. And then later, like I said, it looks like I can't say with 100% certainty, but it looks like there's the third book in the series. It will come out maybe at the end of this year, beginning of next year, and that's called Me and You and a Corpse Named Lou. So, so
Oh, these are fun. I love this.
I had people. I had people. I was at a crime writers conference. You know, you've been there with me too, the Left Coast Crime,
Yeah.
and I was somebody was reading the titles of these books, and she was drinking something, and she came across a hearse with her name, and she started. Coke came out of her nose. She was laughing at it. I said, "Well, that's maybe not the reaction I want, but that's okay."
Any kind of visceral reaction is a good one. Love that. All right. So you, as I just said, you are very busy getting this many books out in this short a period of time.
Yeah.
Um, are there plans for beyond book three at this point? Or do you have any other projects in the back of your mind that you want
Yeah, I do. Well, certainly I would like to go beyond book three on this, but we'll see what happens with that. And same thing with the English series. It looks like it may not continue beyond book three, but who knows? You never can't tell. And I have been working on another book in the last few months, which I really am excited about. I really like it, but I was trying to get a little bit beyond the because my these two series, certainly the Adam Parrall series, are what they call cozy mysteries,
to?
very light, humorous, not graphic violence or anything like that. And the British mysteries are a little bit more traditional mysteries. I don't like to call them cozies, but they're kind of like that. And so I thought, well, maybe I can write one that's a little bit beyond cozy, a little bit darker. There's actually different names for this genre, but some people have called it cozy plus, where I don't know if you've heard that, where it's not quite as cozy. There is some darkness to it. And so I thought, well, I'm going to take a shot at writing that. And it originally started with my agent saying that publishers are looking for high concept books these days. And high concept, what does high concept mean? It could mean anything. So
Right.
I came up with an idea for a story, and I thought, well, this is high concept. This might work. And the working title at that time it's since changed about four or five times. But the working title was Plot Twist. I think, okay, I've just called the book Plot Twist, and that way readers know there's going to be a plot twist in it. And so I came up with the idea for a really good, juicy plot twist. I put that in there, and then I kept writing. Well, then there was a second plot twist, and a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one. And I thought, okay, my God, so I can't call this plot twist anymore because there's more than one. And it just went on from there. And so it's I love writing, and this one just I just it was like a child in a sandbox. I just love playing with all the things, and just had a fun time with it. So I'm hoping that sees the light of day and that will get into readers' hands because I think it'd be a really good one.
Actually, I kind of like, if you kept it plot twist, then because they'll be expecting the one, then when they get
Yeah,
the next one, it'll be like,
exactly.
whoa.
I know.
So yeah, let's get that one out to the light of day for
I
sure.
hope. I hope.
So, finally, where can our listeners find you, your social medias and whatnot?
Well, I'm there. So I have a website, nicholasgeorgeauthor.com. I could also be found on Instagram, and I'm on Blue Sky, and I'm on Facebook and Goodreads, and those are the main ones. I think. Yeah, you have to cover all these bases. Yeah, but yeah, I can be found there, and
Yeah, just do a search for you and you'll pop up.
that's
Well,
right.
thank you again for joining us here, and thank you all of our fans for watching Blackbird Writers Presents Author Interviews.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.